earplugs, the front row, so forgive me. I know we already talked about watermelons and we talked about the intricacies of cutting it up, but I really want to talk about just one thing on how I would deliver watermelon. See, I do it Gallagher style, right? I put it right here in front and I smash the heck out of it because I want to get watermelon on everybody, okay? Because watermelon to me is that inspiration, that motivation, but don't worry, you don't have to be sitting up front to be sprayed by my watermelon. Okay, everybody in the back right now should be able to get a little bit of out from me. Now, my name is Joe Marquez, and I teach 8th grade science at Alta Sierra Intermediate School. So I am in the trenches with you. But also another part of my job is to go around and coach teachers using technology. I go in and I sit in their class and I sit in the back, which can kind of be intimidating, not only for myself, but for the teacher as well. And I try to tell them, well, how, let me go ahead and switch to the next one. Does that work? There we go. And I try to tell them how maybe they can integrate some technology to create more motivation and engagement. Now, for today, the talk is about better together, right? And we always think that teachers, that's what we're talking about when we're talking about better together. But I want to touch on all facets of better together, right? Not only teacher to teacher, but teacher to student. Because we're with the students the majority of the day. And then I also want to talk about student to student. How is this better together not only affecting us, but them as well? Now, we teachers are supposed to be getting better every single year. And how do we do that? We do that by interacting with our students. The contract that we give to our students is we will make you better learners, but in retrospect, it's the students that make us better teachers. That's how it is being better together. Now, to me, the students that make me the best, the students that make me progress, the students that make me innovate, those students are the ones that come in with their hands folded, right? Sitting in the back. What do I need science for? I'm not going to be a scientist, right? The students that sit back and go, school's not for me. I already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a skateboarder. I'm going to the X Games. I'm going to be the next Tony Hawk. Those are the students that I want to reach. Those are the students that I want to get at. But tell me, if we're supposed to be making our students better every year, how do we get those students in our classes? How do we get those students who should already be motivated and engaged to want to learn? How do we still get them by 8th, 9th, 10th grade still folding their hands saying, what am I here for? How do we get that? We have got to make sure that instead of pushing our students onto the next grade, saying it's the next teacher's problem, we got to push them in the classroom. We got to push them to be better. We have to push them so they realize education is a pathway out of the life they may be living right now, out of the home life they may be living at that exact moment. We don't know, maybe they're at home and their parents are saying, well, you're just going to graduate and get a job. You're not going to college. We have to show them there is a pathway. We cannot just be pushing them forward. And to give you my point, I want to tell you a little story about shoes. Okay, so back in the 1800s, when Africa was being opened up to trade, you had a lot of Europeans going to Africa trying to sell their goods. Now, there were two men that were traveling on this boat, and their job was to sell shoes. Now, it wasn't an easy job to travel that way. You had to go around the Horn of Africa, very treacherous, bad weather. It took a long time to get there. Now, these guys, they got off the boat, and the first one stepped off, and he looks around, and he got melancholy and disappointed. He's like, man, I took this long journey, and look, nobody is wearing shoes. How am I supposed to sell shoes to people who don't wear shoes? He gets back on the boat, goes home, and says, it's hopeless. Let's go somewhere else. The next guy gets off the boat, and he looks around. He goes, oh, my gosh, nobody is wearing shoes. I can sell shoes to everybody. He calls back home and says, send me more salesmen. We're going to make a gold mine. You see, those students that are in our class that don't have that motivation, those students are not wearing shoes. And we have the opportunity now to finally sell shoes to the shoeless. We have an amazing opportunity to finally get those kids who have never understood the joy of learning. Those kids, we get to see that spark ignite in their eyes and go, wow, that's how science affects me? Wow, that's how math affects me? We have to start selling shoes to the shoeless and give them joy in discovering that learning will make them better. So don't look at those students and say it's hopeless, they've never worn shoes, don't even worry about putting shoes on their feet. It's your job to try and push and show them the benefit of wearing those shoes. Now, technology for me is what has driven that spark. Now, as I was telling you, part of my job is to actually go into classrooms and watch teachers teach. And I love that because I get to share that information with teachers who can then push it down to their students. Now, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? Because I coach at Buchanan High School with teachers, and I actually went to Buchanan High School, so I said, I'm going to go in to one of my old teacher's rooms, and I'm going to help her. So I go into her class, and I'm watching the lesson, and she's doing the same stuff she did 25 years ago when I was in her class, and I sat down, I'm gonna inspire her with that shoe story, and I'm gonna go in, and we're gonna get her going, and she's notoriously known as a teacher that does not use technology. Like, if I could get her to use it, man, that's gonna be great. So I watched her, and we sat down, and I said, you know what? Let me tell you a story about shoes. And she looks at me and says, well, Joe, I just don't see why after 25 years I should change what I'm doing. I mean, I taught you and you came out okay. And I was like, well, yes, I did come out okay. But listen, I was in your class from a different age. Not from 79, sorry, I just like that disco picture. I said, I was in your class at a different time. When I was in your class, we had no cell phones. We had no internet. Beepers had just came out, right? We had none of that stuff. We live in an age right now where students in our class have never lived in a world without the internet. We live in a world now that students have never known a world without a cell phone that fits in your pocket. And I'm not talking about that Saved by the Bell's big old brick cell phone either from the 80s. I'm talking about the new slick cell phones that fit seamlessly in the pocket. We live in a different age. When they want to watch a video, they turn on Netflix. They don't have to use the house telephone to call up Blockbuster Video. That is an old statement now, right? If they want to call home, they pick up their phone and call home. They don't have to use the old 1-800-COLLECT trick by calling and saying, Mom, pick me up, don't say yes, and then hang up. It's completely different now. Completely different. And so I'm trying to get her to understand this, and she goes, well, you are just fancy. Right? I've never been called fancy before, trust me. And she goes, you walk in with your glowing belt and your cyborg eye. She goes, I just don't do that. You look like some kind of educational Terminator. Right? And I'm like, well, thank you. But I am a Terminator. Right? Not from the first one who came to destroy the world, but from the second one who came here to save it. And with technology, that's what I want to do. And I tell her, now listen, I'm not asking you how to change the way that you teach. You've been teaching for 25 years, and you're doing a great job. But the world is different. So don't change the way you teach. You have to change the way that you reach. Because our kids are dying for technology in the classroom. They don't want to use technology. They expect to use technology. And if you hold that away from them, do you really think you have their attention? Before school, I dare you walk around your class and your campus and you see what your students are doing. They are complete zombies. They are stuck to their device. They are playing a game. They're checking their Instagram. They're checking their Twitter feed. And when the bell rings, do you think that's truly over? No! They're thinking about the next level. They're thinking about all their likes. They're thinking about who's looking at their Instagram photos. And when they're thinking about that, are they thinking about you? No. We have got to change the way that we reach our modern students. Now, when I tell this to teachers, they go, well, you know what? Cell phones just become a distraction. Devices just become a distraction. What if I'm talking and all of a sudden they're texting somebody? If I let them use their phones, you know that's all they're going to do. I go, well, yes, sometimes that will happen. But as a teacher, what do we have to do? We have to watch and redirect. And I always tell them this. I go, now, well, first off, raise your hand if you have actual kids, not students, but kids, 15, 16, or above. 15, 16, or above. Good. Now raise your hand if you have students in the range of 15 or 16. Okay, some of us. Now, answer me this. Would you take car keys on the day of their 16th birthday, give it to them, and say, have fun? Go drive. If that was the case, I would not live here because that would be crazy, right? You cannot give them keys to a car and expect them to know what to do and right from wrong. You have to have them take driver's ed. You have to sit in the car with them and explain to them how to parallel park, right? You have to go in there and you have to say, it's not you that are bad driver, it's the other people that are bad drivers. Well, then why do we give students cell phones? Why do parents give kids laptops and tablets and just say, go for it? The device is one of the most crazy things you can give a student without showing them how to use it. So we have to stop using excuses of, well, what if they do this? Because I always answer back, what if your student is doodling with their pencil when you're talking? Do you go over and take that pencil away? Well, of course not. Then they can't do their work. I said, exactly. So why would you take their cell phone away? Well, a cell phone is not a pencil. I said, that's your problem. I said it nicely, though. She was my teacher. But that's the problem. We have to change our thinking. We have to change our thinking. A pencil is the old, and a digital device is the new. We have to give our students a chance. We have to give them a chance to show us what they are capable of, and if we give them that chance, they will show us amazing things. Because teachers that take risks have students that take risks, and teachers that do amazing things will have students that do amazing things, and teachers that try and fail show the kids that it's okay to try and fail. Because we know that failure is only another stepping stone towards success. The only time you truly fail is when you fail and stop. So we as teachers cannot stop. We got to keep moving because the world is moving. And if you're not on the boat, if you're not moving with it, you're going to stop being relevant to your kids. And relevancy is the first hook towards getting them involved in education. Now, teachers, I'm telling you right now, you have got to tear down your walls. Because if you're like me, you wake up and you go to school and you're in your classroom at 7 o'clock, you're finishing up the last few things you want to do on your day, and then you get in and your kids start coming in, first period, second period, third period, fourth period lunch. You try to go to the bathroom, but you got kids rushing in asking for help. You really got to shoo them out the last minute, think, I really got to go. I don't have bathroom passes. I'm a teacher. Right? And then finally you go and come back and you have 7th period and 6th period, and then by the time it's 3, 4, 5 o'clock, you've never seen an adult. You've only seen 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds. Teachers, we are truly better together, but why are we so singled out alone in our caves? Technology is what we need to start using to connect ourselves, create a huge educational community. If you're not a tweeter, if you are not on Twitter, you are missing out on one of the greatest professional development opportunities in this world. Because right now, if you are not using the hashtag CA Teacher Summit, you are missing out on half the conference. Because the conference face-to-face is only part of it. The conference, the other half, the new school water cooler, is Twitter. And at 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock at night, when you're at home, relaxing from the day, you can sit on your couch in your pajamas, watching Wheel of Fortune, and still have a great professional development experience with teachers all around this world. We have got to do it. Why? Not for us, for our kids. Because we all became teachers for one reason: to make a difference. And I'll tell you right now, the problem with this world at this moment is we're always trying to find a fix from the top down. How is the government going to fix this? How is the government going to do this? Guys, we are at the bottom. We are at the starting point. We are the generals of a new world, and the kids are our soldiers, and we get to build them up. We can change the world from the bottom up. We just have to inspire and motivate and engage and get them to understand that having an education lifts them up. Having an education opens their eyes. It's like taking that Matrix analogy. Do you want the red pill or the blue pill? Education opens them up to understand how the world truly works. Is it going to be easy to incorporate technology? No, but nothing's always easy. But you know what? A lot of people say, I don't have time. And if you say that, you have not enough time not to do it. Because yes, it may take a little bit of time to get it started, but in the end, you'll get more out of your kids, and you'll have a seamless classroom transition from one to the next. I implore you, if you have ever wanted to take that next step, please get involved with somebody in your school, somebody in your district, and ask them, how can I start changing the way that I reach my kids? And if you ever need any help, my Twitter is Joe Marquez70, and a brand new professional development we're starting is Sons of Technology. You know, like Sons of Anarchy, but with an educational twist. So starting September, sonsoftechnology.com, professional development for the risk-taking teacher. And we will walk you through how to implement technology and start changing the world from the ground up. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it.
That was awesome.